All right, welcome everyone to the second episode of Hectizzy Talks, and today we're going to be talking about the Premier League and the transfer window. Lots of has happened in this year's this summer transfer window. Probably the best transfer window we've had, maybe ever. Definitely in a long time. Um, Obviously, the headliners: Lukaku, CR7, um, Messi, Ramos, Jadon Sancho, Varane. We'll get to what that means for every club and how it all went down. But I want to start off with the 2021 to 2022 Premier League season prediction. Honestly, the top four are pretty much easy. They're easy. The top five, type six, they're easy because you know who's gonna be up there. Um, you know who's gonna be fighting for Europa League and the Champions League spots, but it's kind of like that middle pack. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's so many teams that could leapfrog each other. A couple wins here and there, and then boom, they're fighting for the top six, top four spots. Or a couple losses here and there, and then they're fighting for the bottom half and fighting for relegation. So I'm gonna start off with the bottom three. The three teams that are gonna get relegated. And before I get to that, we're gonna also talk about my breakout stars and player of the year and golden boot for the league. Who's gonna be top scorer or top assist. Um, So we're gonna get into all of that. I'm gonna make the prediction after I show you guys what I've come up with for the league table. So right off the bat, I'm sorry Norwich, but I don't think the team's good enough to stay up. I think they're a decent side. It's just I just don't see enough quality. I just don't see enough production in goals. I don't think Timo Pukki could have the year or the start or the amount of production he had, first of all, in the championship he had last year, and then second of all, from 2 seasons ago where he just started on fire, we saw that, it's going to be hard for him to carry the load because he kind of cooled off after a while in that season. I think he's just not enough. And yeah, they made some couple of nice loany signs, nice signings, but I don't think it's enough. I just don't think it's enough for the quality that the Premier League needs, like that it requires. I just don't think it's there. Um, I root for them, because I like rooting for the underdog. I like rooting for the little guy to beat Goliath, but I just don't see it happening. 19th, I have Southampton. I like Southampton. I think they're a decent side. I just don't see enough quality. I think they lost too much. I think they lost a lot of production in Danny Ings. I think they lost a really great center back in Vestergaard. And I don't think they did enough to replace that. Armstrong is a nice replacement for Danny Ings, but I just don't see it being enough. I think he'll give you 8 to 10, maybe max 12 goals this season, and I don't think that's gonna be enough because I just don't think Shea Adams is it. I don't think he's a great. He's decent, again, decent. Decent doesn't cut it in the Premier League. You need top quality. Um, It shows with some of these teams that are being relegated season after season. Some of the quality that they have is just not enough, and it's sad to say that that's why they don't stay up. Um, and going to my third and last team that gets relegated, I'm gonna go with Burnley. Now, they are a very consistent side since they've come up with Sean Dyche and their system. Their system is very straightforward. It's no business, no funny business. It's very, um, you're not gonna get anything new with them. You know what they're gonna do. They're gonna park the bus, play compact 4-4-2. They're gonna have one striker up top as a target man, Chris Wood, and hopefully they get a scrappy goal here and there. And then just park the bus the rest of the game and hopefully they win or tie. But I just don't think this season, with all the fans coming back and um, the number of quality teams, I just don't think they're gonna be good enough to stay up. I think their system has proven to work for them. It works for them. Year after year, they find a way to stay up. I don't know how the hell they do it, but they do. I just don't. I just don't know. It's just, to me, it's just a boring style of play. Their style of play is so boring to me, and they don't do anything spectacular. They don't do anything different. Um, the players they buy, the players they get on loan, it fits their system. Again, it works for them. I just don't see it working this season. I just think they're gonna be relegated, and who knows? Maybe next season they'll come back up. Because they have Premier League quality. It's just like Dwight McNeil is nice. They got other couple players that are decent, but again, I just don't see it happening. So the first team that barely squeaks and fights off relegation is going to be Watford. Again, Watford has that experience of being in the Premier League. They have players that have been there. A couple seasons ago, they were in the Prem, and they were in the Prem for a consistent 4 or 5 seasons. I think they're just gonna scrape and stay in the top flight. They have great players. They have exciting players. Emmanuel Dennis, they brought him over, I think from the Bundesliga, if I'm not mistaken. Um, he's an exciting player. He has pace. Uh, Sar, Ismail Sar, another great player. One of the players that a lot of like FIFA players that they get him in career mode. They buy him from Watford. It's Joao Pedro, but I don't know if he's healthy right now. It would be nice if he's fit for him to even come off the bench and see what his quality is. Show off some of the quality that he gets rated in FIFA career mode. But then again, it's different compared to real life. But it would be nice to see it in real life and up against Premier League clubs. Best competition there is. So after that, I got Crystal Palace. I really want Patrick Vieira to succeed as a head coach, as a manager, as the main guy at Palace. But it's just gonna be his first season, so I just think that it's gonna take some time. It's gonna take some time for him to adjust to the league, and his players to adjust to him, to his style, to his philosophy. So with that being said, I think they'll have a decent season. They're obviously gonna be fighting for the bottom half of the standings, but I think they have enough quality to stay up. 15th, I have Wolves. With Wolves, it's gonna be tough because they could either be a top half team I could see them being 7, 8, 9, 10, or where I have them 13, 14, 15, 16. I don't know. They're off to a rough start, but they've only conceded 3 goals. They haven't scored yet, and one of the reasons why is because, first of all, it's a new head coach, new manager, and he is implementing his philosophy to a team that I'm pretty sure his style of game, like style of play, is way different from what Nuno had before. Nuno was very, defensive oriented, defensive minded, play on the counter. Um, the new head coach there, Bruno Lage, um, his new style is kind of similar, but I feel like he wants to implement a more positive and progressive style. Have the ball a little bit more, play in the other opponent's half. They have the players to do it. I just think that we have to give Raul Jimenez a little bit more time. I think he is coming back of a horrific injury, a head injury. His confidence is not there, and you could see it in the first 3 games. He's not fully fit, and if he is, he's not fully confident. He's not 100% confident, and it sucks because I really want him to succeed again, to be at the level that he was a couple seasons ago. Raul is my boy. Like, I don't know him personally, but no. I want him to play really well. Um, he's one of my favorite players right now, and he's gonna. It's gonna take some time. It's gonna take some time for him to. I think once you see him get bag like 2 or 3 goals, I think his confidence is gonna be up there again. Newcastle, I have them at 14th. So uh, I think they're probably one of the teams that haven't made the most transfer moves this summer window, and it either could hurt them really poorly, and they could get relegated, or it could just be enough to keep the chemistry there at the club and keep them up. I think Gucci Alison Maximum is probably one of the most exciting players in the league, and I think they just have to feed him the ball. Him and Miguel Almiron, just give him the ball and let them create, let them go at the defense and just produce. Let them ball out. If they could do that consistent with Joe Willock, a nice signing, maybe find a couple goals. Maybe I can see like 10, 11, 12 goals from Callum Wilson. I think that'll be enough for them to stay up. I think they're just treading water and waiting for that big financial takeover from the supposedly the new owners. So once that happens, I think they're gonna be like Man City, where oil money takes over. Um, in 13th, I have Brentford. I think they're one of those. I mentioned it. Wild card teams. You don't know what you're gonna get, and they look exciting. They look like kind of like Leeds last season, where first time up in the Prem in a long time. They're hungry. They're excited. Their fans are. When you play in Brentford, they're gonna be backing them. They're gonna be exciting. Yeah, I think, but they're a club to watch for sure. Um, but I don't think they're gonna relegated. I don't think their style of play suits relegation. But I'm gonna go with Leeds 12. I just think their defense is not as good as their offensive game. I just think Leeds are one of the most exciting teams to watch, but they leave themselves way too exposed in the back to be a top side. I think to be a top side, top six, you have to have somewhat of a defense. They could finish literally anywhere in the top half, or 7 through 12. Again, I think Bielsa's a great manager, and they have a exciting team. They added Daniel James, who was going to add to that firepower and explosiveness and counter, their style of play. But I just think it's not enough. And defense, they lack a lot. 11th is I have Brighton. Brighton is one of those teams that last season they were in dear need of a goal scorer. They needed a true number nine because literally they literally have everything else. They have a solid defense, good good backs, left right back, midfield. They're set. I mean, Basuma is one of the best midfielders in the league. Like, come on, like that's why almost every top club is after him. Yeah, Basuma's he's a great midfielder. He's sought after by every top club in the league, and then probably in other leagues are eyeing him as well. I wouldn't be surprised. McAllister, he's decent. He's an Argentinian number 10 that they have. He's he has quality. Lallana is still servicing the club pretty well. He's still a decent player. Again, this is a team that under Graham Potter they play really good football. They play well, and they're not afraid to have the ball and possess the ball and attack you. They're not one of those teams that sit back and defend. They like to come at you, and for that, I think they should be rewarded this season with a top half or even top 10 finish. Top 8. You never know. And 10th, I know everyone's clowning Arsenal right now because they haven't won, they haven't scored in the league, and they're literally last. They're 20th, but again, it's only 3 games. It's only 3 games, and I feel like they'll work things out. I think they really will. Um, and once they get their full squad healthy and sorted out this season, I think they'll be middle half of the table. I think the way they started, they won't be top half, but they won't be bottom half. I just think there's too much quality and too many like. Uh, I just don't see it happening. I just don't. There's too much quality there. There's too much there for a relegation. Everyone's saying they're going to be relegated and they're going to play in the championship next year, and I think that's complete bullshit. And I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I think Arteta's a decent enough manager where he'll have the team up, and you know what? Maybe it'll be a blessing in disguise because if they finish poorly, he'll get fired and you could have a new manager come in and completely rebuild the squad, which they have players, they have quality players to rebuild with. They just signed Martin Odegaard from Real Madrid. He's a quality player. He's he's top quality. He has good vision, top playmaking ability. Um, if they could tap into what he was when he was at Real Sociedad, I think they have a quality player. I know Ben White was overpriced, but someone said, to me, it was like, yeah, it's that English tax. English player, especially a ball playing center back, it's tough to find. And then he's English. English players are going for a premium right now, especially since they were finalists at the Euros and World Cup semifinalists. And I guess it is a premium right now to be English. Um, it says so as he was price tag at 50 million. Uh, I think it was dollars, euros, pounds, whatever. 50 million. That's a lot for a center back. That's 23, 24, but hasn't. He was third choice, third string at the Euros. So yeah, I guess you could see where people are complaining of the price tag. But again, English center back. that fits that system. So obviously Brighton were gotta price him at a high price tag. So that's him, Ben White. And you know what sucks about Arsenal? It sucks that they were out of all the top flight major clubs that you know out of all the top five league clubs. When you think of Bayern Munich, you think of Juve, you think of PSG, who had an insane transfer summer window. You think of Real Madrid, Barca, Arsenal were the top spenders. And you could argue that they had probably the worst signings compared to the other top five of that list. Man, you had a way better transfer window than Arsenal, and they spent a lot more, significantly more. And like when you compare the prices, it's like you got Varane for 30 million, 40 million, and you spent 50 for Ben White. I know he's younger, he has more to prove, but Varane is a proven winner. He is proven to be a World Cup winner, Champions League winner. Was part of that backline that backboned Real Madrid to win three in a row, three Champions Leagues in a row. That's not easy. One is not easy, but three, I hate to say it, you got to give them credit. It sucks. I'm a Barca fan, and I'm over here praising Real Madrid for that. Maybe at the time I would have been like, yeah, fuck Madrid and fuck all that shit, and they got the refs behind them, but it's been like 3 years since they've won something, the Champions League, and now you're like, you kind of just like, wow, it's impressive what they did. So back to Arsenal. I think their best signing was Odegaard, hands down. Who knows? Maybe Ben White will be better, but I just don't see them being a top six side this season. After them, I have Villa. Yes, Jack Grealish left the club, but I think they did a very well, like a very, very good job of replacing him. They replaced him with Leon Bailey, who was a winger, just like Grealish, because they didn't use him as a 10. They use him as like an 11 on the wing. They don't put him in the cam, at least when he was with Villa. And they bought Emi Buendia, who was targeted by Arsenal. He was in. He was. I'm pretty sure he was one of the players they were looking at to bring into the Emirates. But Emi Buendia, he already scored. I think past weekend he scored. He scored a banger. Just caught in, curled it. He's quality, and he tore it up with Norwich last season in the championship. So I think he's a great signing. He's that playmaker that they need. That is going to fill the void of Jack Grealish. So I think they'll have. And this is one of the most underrated signings. I think I'm forgetting. They signed Danny Ings out of nowhere. I think everyone was surprised that he left Southampton. It was like one of those transfers that had no like buzz around, like nobody knew. It just came out of nowhere, and boom, they signed Danny Ings, who is already off to a nice start. So that's gonna be, I think, him with Ollie Watkins. I think they're gonna produce enough goals for them to be a top 10 side for sure. They already have quality. I think their back line is decent. They got Twansebe, who's like, I think he's really nice, a really good center back from Man U. They got him on loan. Konza's quality. Tyron Mings is pretty decent. He was a starter in the Euros for England. And then you got the Copa America hero from Argentina, Emi Martinez, the GOAT. He's the GOAT, man. What he did to Yeremina and the Copa America, that was one of the dopest exchanges of or like sequences in football ever. I mean, that's goated. He's goated for that. Um, so they'll be good. Everton, they're kind of tough to figure out right now. You know, you have a Liverpool legend in oh, I'm blanking out his name. Hold up. Yeah, so you have a Liverpool legend. Maybe he wasn't there for the longest, but he is part of one of the most memorable and iconic Champions League finals of all time, Rafa Benitez, and you have a manager that used to manage literally your crosstown rival, and you bring him in, and you don't know where you're gonna get. You could get someone that's completely there to sabotage the club, or someone that's gonna bring glory back to Everton. So I think I think they'll do good. I think they have good players. They brought in a couple good players, Damari Gray, and they just last minute on deadline day they got Salomon Rondon, the Venezuelan striker, and he's gonna guarantee you 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 goals in all competitions. So that's good. He's a bagsman. He has lots of experience. Uh, he's gonna get you goals. Him with DCL, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison up top. You know, if they play him on the wing, I think you're gonna get lots of production from Everton. They have a decent side. They have a really good side to battle for um, top six. They're gonna be one of those teams for sure battling for Europa League spots. And seventh, I have Leicester City. I really feel bad for them. They're one of those sides that is always there. Is always there. Fifth spot, sixth spot. They're so close to being into the Champions League spots. They just choke. Literally, the last 3-4 weeks of the season, the last 3-4 fixtures of the season, and they just choke it. I don't know. It sucks because they've won the league and they've won the FA Cup. So they're winning trophies. They just beat Chelsea. I know it's the FA Community Shield, but hey, silverware is silverware. Some teams go years without any. So they're there. They're knocking on the door. But this season, um, Fofana, that's a big loss. That's a big loss for them in the back. That's why they went out and got Vestergaard. But Fofana is just a great talent. He just proved last season that he's gonna be something special. Uh, Loads of talent. And then now we're gonna get into the juicy part. Um, Top six. Six, we got Tottenham. I know they're first in the league. They're unbeaten. They've won every game. I just don't think that there's enough there to be top four. So they have to settle for top six until they prove me and prove the world. They prove themselves that they could be a top team and finally get back into the Champions League spots. Um, Europa League for them. I think they're good enough, especially now that Harry Kane's staying for at least another season. They're good enough for the top six side. They're a top six side with Harry Kane. Without Harry Kane, they are top half. 9, 10, 8, 9, 10. they're not good enough without Harry Kane. With Harry Kane, they'll find themselves in the Europa League, maybe potentially fighting for Champions League spots. And now it's surprisingly, yes, I have Liverpool in fifth. Now the reason why I have Liverpool in fifth and not fourth, like everyone else, is because I don't think they did enough in the transfer window to supplement an injury. Meaning, if someone gets injured, Bobby Firmino, or they lose, they dip in form, Firmino, Salah, or Mane, I don't think Jota is enough. I don't think he's going to be enough to be a substitute for those three players. In the midfield, they're okay, but again, Genie Wijnaldum was such a loss for them. Losing him in on a free to PSG is gonna be insane for them because he's a motor. He was literally one of the motors for them this past season. I'm pretty sure he played almost every game. He's an engine in the midfield. He's a box to box, and he's quality. He is a quality player. He's very technical. He has great ability on the ball. Can do it all. Swiss Army knife. I don't think Alex Chamberlain, Oxlade Chamberlain is good enough to replace him at that role. I just I think his better days, were are past him. I think he was a better player over. Maybe overall he's a better player now, but his pace that he had at Arsenal, I think he was just so explosive, and he had to convert to a midfield role, and I just don't think. I just I just don't see it. Again, let's see how Big Verge, and Joe Gomez perform, Joel Matip, how they perform in the back line, with these prior injuries that they had all of last season. So let's take I think they're one of the ones to watch because everyone obviously is not picking them to win the league, and a lot of people are not picking them to be two or three, and I'm not picking them to be top four, but I really think they will be. But obviously, I want to be like I went the bold way and said fifth. They will be the team to watch. Can they perform? Can they get back to that level that they were 2 seasons ago when they won the league? 3 seasons ago, where they were second in the league and they won the Champions League. Can they be at that level again? We'll see. And then fourth, I have a bold prediction. I know. West Ham United. I think they were so close last season, so close to being in the Champions League. They lost, they lost it in the last game or two of the season. It's it sucks because I think they have a good team, and so far Antonio has broken out. He's breaking out, and he's an exciting player to watch right now. He's in form. He's top goal scorer in the league right now, and they have a solid team. Declan Rice, Socek, Kofal, Ogbonna. Then they just got Kurt Zuma from Chelsea, another center back to add to that back line. Cresswell has been a solid left back for years. Said Benrahma is, I think, the reason why they haven't brought back Jesse Lingard is because I think David Moyes is like, you know what, here, let's give the number 10 role to Said Benrahma and unleash him, unlock his abilities, and let him take the role. If he stays healthy, watch out. I think because he'll be that creative force up top, they are so close to breaking that top four, and I think even if they don't get top four, they'll get into Europa League spots again this season. So another team to keep an eye on. And then the top three, Chelsea. A lot of people's top, like either two or three. When Lukaku came over and they signed Lukaku, I think everyone was jumping on the bandwagon like, oh, they're gonna win the league. They're gonna win the league. I don't think just yet. Lukaku's a great signing. He's gonna bag a lot of goals, tons of goals. I just don't think they are there just yet. I think until we see Kai Havertz, to me, it's Kai Havertz is the key. Because Mason Mount is there. He is. We know what we're gonna get with him week in week out. He's gonna, effort. He's quality, creative. Good passing. It's Kai Havertz. To me, it's the key is Kai Havertz. And can the defense hold up? Because they got rid of Kurt Zuma. Is Thiago Silva gonna hold up? Is Aspi gonna hold up? The aging players, are they gonna be able to withstand the long, long season? Chelsea's there. Chelsea's so close to breaking that final step into winning the league. And that's what they're challenging. They just won the Champions League. It's going to be tough to repeat, especially now with PSG and Bayern and all these other teams. They are after the league, but I just don't see it happening this season. Just yet. I don't think it's going to happen this season. Maybe next one. Just not this season. And then surprise, surprise, number 2, Man City. And yes, that means my first spot is Man United. And here's why. Man City at some point had their eyes on Messi, Harry Kane, and just recently Cristiano Ronaldo. They didn't get any of them. They got Jack Grealish. I don't think Jack Grealish is a goal scorer that they need. He's not the goal scorer that they need. I realize that they won the league without a true number 9 last season, and it was a bunch of wingers and midfielders scoring. But you're not going to get Gundogan to score 16 goals again. He's a midfielder. He's not going to do that again. I just do not see that happening. He's never been a goal scorer like that in his career. He's been a solid midfielder, but never a goal scorer. I just don't see that happening. I think Ferran Torres is a great young player. I just don't think he's ready to step into the shoes that Aguero left, and step into Aguero's shoes that he vacated. That spot's there to take. Gabriel Jesus, I don't think he's the one. I don't think he's the one. He hasn't proven, and he's gotten opportunity and opportunity again. He hasn't shown to produce. Man City is that club that, and especially with Pep there, he demands results. He's Pep. It's Man City. They have money. They're going after that Champions League. They're going after to win the Premier League. That's expected from them. I just don't think with this season, with all the players that have come into the Premier League, Lukaku, CR7, you have Jamie Vardy, you have Kane, Mo Salah, that are just going to score goals. You need a goal scorer. Man City is going to suffer from not scoring from that 9 spot. They'll score goals. But in big games, you need that number 9. You need that focal point. That guy that's going to fight for that header. That guy that's going to find that half a yard to find a shot. You need that guy. And Kane was their target. They didn't end up with Kane. It is what it is. And I just don't think it's going to be enough in the end of the day to compete with Chelsea who honestly, I'm looking at these standings and they're gonna have the goals with Lukaku. They very well could be second, and Man City could very well be third. So, with that being said, Man U first. Why? They had one of the greatest summer transfer windows of all time, and it's crazy because PSG had a better one, and Man U had one of the best of all time. So that what does that say? Of course, PSG had an insane transfer window, but as far as the Premier League, to me, the best one was Man United. They brought in finally the player they needed at right wing was Jadon Sancho. Finally, after seasons of speculation of them trying to, bid for him at Dortmund and all that, they finally got him. They finally went and got a world class center back that has been needed for a couple seasons now. I think ever since Mourinho was there. So 3 seasons. Yeah, I know they got Harry Maguire, but no. Varane's on a different level. Yeah, I know people was gonna say, yeah, he's aging. Might have been injured, and his form has dipped. I think the quality's still there. He just has to find it again. I think you give him first team minutes. You know, he's gonna be the partnership to Harry Maguire. He'll find his form, for sure. The CR7 signing was just, I think, the perfect storm for them. It was the perfect storm. Why? Because Man City were linked to Ronaldo, and everyone thought that Ronaldo was gonna go, and Man United fans were outraged, and everyone was like, "Oh, he's such a traitor! He's such a traitor!" Guess what? Man U said, "You know what? We have to do something about this. We're gonna step in." Former club legends stepped in and convinced Ronaldo. He had agent Bruno Fernandes, uh, you know, convincing CR7 to come to Man U, come back to his where everything began, where he became the superstar that he is today. You know, it was the perfect fairy tale right there. The fairy tale story for him to come back, where he became a global superstar. Maybe not his game, where obviously in Real Madrid it just took off, but where he became CR7 and come back to a team that's basically so close to winning the league and going back to their glory days, because Man U were so dominant that they were one of the most dominant sides in the last 20 years, 25 years, that not winning the league is almost like a failure for them. And it's crazy to think that their standard has been set so high because of their history that not winning the league or not winning trophies, it's a failure for them. And you know what? That's great, because you want to expect that greatness and that level. You want to be at that level. So I think he was the top scorer at age what, 35, 36 in the Serie A. When you had Lukaku bagging goals, you had Ciro Immobile bagging scores. So hey, he's still fit. He's still in form. I think he'll bag. My prediction is gonna be more than 20 total competitions, maybe 30. He's that good. Um, so Man U has a nasty squad. If Pogba could continue the level he's at that he started, they're dangerous. And I really think they are. Maybe they won't end up winning the league. You never know, you know. But I really think that they are that this is the season to do it. This and next season is the season to win it. They are from becoming a for sure title contender, like no doubt in my mind. Like it's them, Man City, and then Chelsea. Either one can win it. I mean, it's there right now, but I'm saying like for sure, 100%. I'm putting money on it for them to win. It's a world class center mid or DM like that could get the ball from the back line into Bruno Fernandes and Pogba. Um, a Declan Rice, a Basuma. Um, I don't know, you name it, anyone. I just don't think that the DMs, defensive midfielders that they have, um, are just they're not it. Scott McTominay is pretty good, but everyone I think collectively agrees that Fred isn't it. He's not that guy. He's not that guy, pal. So Man U's my team. If I'm gonna bet someone, bet money, I guess it's Man U. I just I want to see it happen. I want to see it happen. I'm not. Listen, I am not biased to any team in this league. You know, every team any given day I could root for. Some teams I root for more than others, but I think Man U. I'm putting my money on Man U. Um, Plus, they got some sick. Everyone doesn't like Team Viewer as a sponsorship, but I think they have some nice kits this season as well. So possibly I might get a kit. The away one's nice, so there's that. And CR7's there. You have loads of players to pick from. CR7. Um, you want some young talent, Sancho, Greenwood, or you want a Pogba one. You want Bruno Fernandes. There's literally tons of players you could pick from. Um, so that's my prediction. Five players or four or five that I could come up with players that should have left their teams. And I don't see them having a big impact or a significant impact on their team this season, meaning goals, assists, minutes, games, and no type of production. And I'm going to go with probably one of the most obvious is James Rodriguez, just from Everton. He's not going to get any playing time because he doesn't want to be there. He does. It seems like he doesn't want to produce. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. I think he came out and he said uh, like he doesn't even know who the next team Everton's playing. Like he doesn't care to be there, especially now that Ancelotti went back to Madrid. And I'm pretty sure Rafa Benitez doesn't want to use him, which is crazy because a couple seasons ago, especially after the 2014 World Cup, he was one of the most sought after players. He is one of the most talented players in the world. He proved that with Madrid a couple seasons, but now he's like kind of washed. It sucks to say because he's really talented. It is what it is. So that's a player that could um, benefit from a move away. Man City, I'm gonna go with Bernardo Silva. I think he's a quality player that I don't think is gonna get the time that he should be getting because he's again a really good player and he hasn't produced since what 2 or 3 seasons ago. He had like 2 or 3 goals last season, like 2 or 3 assists. Like it was poor. It was that bad. It wasn't that good. His productions, his numbers, his number of goals, assists, his minutes, his games, they were down. And he's a better player than that. He really is. So that's him. Um, Arsenal has a couple players that could benefit a move away. Ainsley Maitland-Niles, and Reese Nelson. These are two players that could benefit a move away either on loan or they could have used a transfer. Oh, yeah. So Reese Nelson got transferred on loan. He was loaned out to Feyenoord, a Dutch team. So that's gonna, you know, hopefully it benefits him and gets playing time. And Maitland Niles, maybe he's gonna be utilized as a wing back or a midfielder for Arteta, but he needs. He said it. I think it was in an Instagram post, or was it Reese Nelson? Regardless, these are young players that at one point were, you know, sought after and they were highly rated, and they haven't had enough playing time. Give them the opportunity, loan them out, or play them. See what you have uh in these players. See what they have in what ability, what what they got. You have these Asian players that you don't even play them, and they're just taking roster spots. Play the young guys. Why not? Especially when the other guys aren't producing. Take a risk, man. Hopefully these risks pan out. But my boy Tammy Abraham, I think he's a great player. I'm really happy he's off to a hot start in Roma with Mourinho. He's he's really producing out there, and I think he's gonna like the Serie A because it's not as it's I feel like it's very suited for his style of play. Target man, like slower pace, and he's gonna be able to use his physicality a lot better in Serie A and use it to his advantage. His height, his presence, and strength, and really like produce. So that's dope for him. I'm glad he made the move. He got bought out. He got bought by Mourinho and Roma. PSG won the transfer window. They got Donnarumma, Gianluigi Donnarumma, the Italian goalkeeper that just won the Euros on a free. They got Sergio Ramos from Madrid on a free. They had Georgino Wijnaldum, Genie, from Liverpool on a free. And they got the GOAT, yes, the GOAT, Lionel Messi on a free. If that's not business, I don't know what is. That is exceptional business. Obviously, the wages, but PSG can afford those wages, for sure. I mean, they're breaded. Um, and then they got a loan. They got a left back or right back from Sporting, a team in Portugal. They Nuno Mendes, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, sir, Nuno Mendes. Um, they got him on a loan with the option to buy. So that's a nice bit of a business there for them. They needed a left back, especially with like Juan Bernat not being there and injured, and I think that's one of the spots they needed to improve, and they did just that. Um, yeah, that team does not have many weaknesses. Like number 9 maybe, Icardi, but you could just put Mbappe there and you're set. So that team's stacked. Yesterday in deadline day, Real Madrid bought Eduardo Camavinga, a young, exciting prospect from Rennes, and they bought him for about it was like 30 or 40 million. He's a center mid with comparisons to like Pogba because of the body style, and he's like really good defensively. So um, he's uh, he he's good more defensively than offensively. So I wouldn't call him box to box. I just call him a center mid or CDM. But if he improves his game over time, he could be amazing box to box because he really has the defensive tendencies and he has the defensive ability. He improves his offensive game, becomes a better passer, dribbler, improves his shots outside the box. Insane, insane player that they got with amazing upside. Yeah, Ren. So that's Real Madrid's um, transfer window. Fucking Barcelona, man. I don't get them. I don't know what the hell Coleman is doing. They first of all they're broke. Like they're in so much debt that they can't really afford wages and signing new players for high through high transfer fees. So they're in sell mode, and what they've done, um, I get it because of the wages and they need to save money, but I also don't because the players that they've been bringing in and letting go, it just doesn't add up. Obviously, they let Messi go. That's one. They just sold a young Spanish player, Moriba, um, center mid to RB Leipzig. Okay, that's fine. Um, and then they let go of Antoine Griezmann. They loan him out with an option to buy to Atletico. He's going back to Atletico Madrid, and then we signed Luke De Jong, a backup striker from Sevilla, who's barely fighting, who's barely starts for them. Um, and we go and sign him. Okay, I get it, cheap striker, but why not go and get like a young cheap striker from somewhere that you send out your your scout team, your scout team, go scout young players, young strikers in Europe or in South America, and tell them to sign them up, sign them, give them time because let me tell you what, they're probably gonna be better than Martin Braithwaite. They're gonna be. I know he's goat weight, but let's be fucking serious. Let's be real for now. He's not Barcelona quality. I hate to say it, he's not Barcelona quality, and he's not good enough to be wearing that shirt. I'm sorry. I hate it. It's the truth. Yes, he'll score here and there, but he proved a couple games ago that he can miss sitters. Hey, you're a professional. Score the goal. You know. I know you might say like, oh, you're not a professional, or why don't you do it? Like, I'm sure if I was a professional and I spent my whole entire life training and playing football, like every day for years and years, I would score that. Come on, I might, whatever. But you're a professional. You got to score that. Come on. Um, yeah. So weird business there. Um, who else they got? Oh, they brought in Sergio Aguero, but again, he's not even registered to play. Um, they need to cut. I think Sergio Busquets, Gerard Piqué, and Jordi Alba had to reconstruct their contracts and their wages, so they have enough money or enough, you know, power or whatever resources to try to pay Sergio Aguero's wages. They're in a bad situation. Obviously, we have to be smart. The Barcelona team, the board has to be smart. The coaches have to be smart. The manager has to be smart. The players have to be smart, and preserve their future. What is their future? I've said it before. Pedri, Ansu Fati, and to name some, those are the main guys. Build the young. That's the core you need. Build the team around them, preserve them. Don't get, Ansu Fati, hopefully, God forbid, he gets injured again. God forbid, Pedri gets injured, especially with all the minutes and games he's played all year. I think there was a stat. He was like one of the most played players in all of Europe of last season. So that means obviously he's the most played player in Barca, and then he went to play in the Euros. He played a lot there with Spain. And then he went to play with the the Spanish Olympic team. And then he came back and played a game just like a couple weeks ago. Like, yo, give my man a break, please. Uh, Literally, give my man a break. And I think I've seen a meme go around where it was like, um, it was a picture of Pedri, and he looked so skinny and like unfed and malnourished, and it looked like he's gone through hell. Like he's overplayed. Like give my like literally. So yeah, that's my Barca. They're just we're down bad. We're down bad, but it could be worse. It could be Arsenal. Sorry, too soon. Yeah, I think it's a too soon of joke. Anyways, so that's that. Um, Accolades for the Premier League. Top goal scorer. Let's start with top goal scorer. Um, let's see. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with Cristiano Ronaldo. I think until he dips in form completely, where he doesn't score more than 30 goals in a season, total goals, or 20 goals in the domestic league season, he will be an unstoppable player. Like not unstoppable. Like he will be a dominant player. But can he do it in the Premier League, the toughest, most competitive league in the world? Can he do it at age 36? We'll see. We will see. But my prediction is CR7, followed by Lukaku, followed by Harry Kane, then Mohamed Salah, then Jamie Vardy. Assist, we'll give it to Bruno Fernandes, and then we'll give it to De Bruyne. You can't go wrong with those two. As far as assists, you know, uh, they'll be providing. Hopefully Pogba could be up there as well. That'll be cool. Um, he's already matched the number of assists he's had all the last season in 3 games. Well, that's pretty insane stat. Um, Clean sheets, I'm gonna go with Ederson, followed by Emi Martinez, and then Allison. Breakout star. My breakout star. Uh, Everyone, watch out for Bukayo Saka. Everyone watch out for Mason Greenwood, who's off to a fire start. 3 goals. Um, he's off to a hot start. He probably will cool off once Ronaldo gets the starting role, but he's so versatile. He's such a good player that once he play, you could sub him in, or you could start him in a couple League Cup games, or in other playing like not the best teams in the league. Maybe like a Norwich or you know uh, give the other guys a break. Uh, he'll still be producing. I think he could get like 8, 9, 10 goals 4 or 5 assists, and a not as prominent role as, let's say, obviously Edson Cavani or CR7, but he'll produce, and that's a step forward from what he had last season, which was a down season for him. So he's a guy to watch out. Um, and I said it before, Said Ben Rama. I think if David Moyes is set on giving him the number 10 role, boom, I think you'll unlock his talent. And I think he's good enough to produce double digit assists. Um, so he's the guy to watch. But really, the guy I think he's not going to be in the stat sheet a lot. He's not going to produce goals or that many assists, but I think a guy that's going to up his game a lot, and he's going to be one of the most sought after players next season, or even in the winter transfer window, is Bissouma. Basuma is a world class talent on a not so world class team, but they do play pretty well. So, but anyways, he is next up. He is going to be one of the best talents in this league. He's already becoming one of the best talents in this league, and yeah, let's keep an eye on him. Let's keep an eye on him, how he performs. Again, you have to watch him play. He's not going to be showing up in the box score. He's not going to be goals or assists or, you know, you got to watch the games. You got to watch the games or the highlights and just locate him on the pitch, somewhere in the midfield, and just make sure that you keep an eye on how he plays because he is an engine, a motor. He is a box to box player. Sit back type player. He literally could do it all. I've seen a couple Brighton games, and when I watch him, he's a standout player. So let's keep an eye on him. And I mentioned Kai Havertz before, but if he could become that player that he was at Leverkusen, just like not become, but like confidence wise, just have that confidence to be an absolute baller. He's only gonna get better. He's only gonna get better. So Kai Havertz to me is a one to watch, breakout star. As far as if you could just tell, as far as disappointing team and as far as breakout team, just by my standings, you could tell that West Ham is one of the teams that, and Brighton are my two teams basically to overperform their expectations. I don't think everyone's gonna expect West Ham to be top six, and maybe top six, but not really. They'll be up there. Brighton, they were in the bottom half, bottom. I think they were like 15, 16, or 17. They were like literally like a couple places from the bottom three. They'll play a lot better. If they can find goals, they'll be a lot better team. They play. They're one of those teams that their style of play is so good that's hard to find them being a bad team. When you play good, when you play good, you can't be disrewarded. And they were one of those teams that had just insane bad luck last season. They were just so unlucky that they were literally one goal away from winning, or they would lose the game in the last 10, 15 minutes, and they would end up tying, and then all those ties just end up in 1 point, and 1 point sometimes isn't enough, you know, and they're one of those unlucky teams, and if they find form and score goals and win games, they'll be a much better team, and you'll see that. They're kind of like Leeds, where they're like their style of play. they can't be relegated with that style of play. They're so positive and so, you know, their style of football is so beautiful to watch, and it's so entertaining that you got to be rewarded. Um, Disappointing teams on my list, I guess Burnley, because you expect them to stay up, and you expect a certain style of play that eventually I think they're going to be relegated. So that's pretty disappointing. Wolves, I think they have better quality than what they've shown last season, and what they'll end up in, like from where their spots will eventually be this season. I think they're a lot better than what they are. They just, again, it all depends on their health and can they figure out their managers, their head coach's philosophy, and their head coach's style of play. Can they figure the shit out over there in Wolverhampton? Um, so those are my accolades for the season. Um, oh, and player of the year. Player of the year is gonna go to. It's between Kevin De Bruyne, CR7, or I'm gonna throw in Lukaku. CR7 and Lukaku because of goal scoring, but I think Kevin De Bruyne, if he's somehow able to chip in with a little bit of goals and to just take over games when Man City play and just be that player, that dominant player he can be, assists, playmaking ability, passes in the final third, key passes in the final third, chance created. Can he be that amazing player that he is? Can he be maintain that level throughout the season where it's just he's unplayable? I think he has the chance to win it, and then that'll prove that he is obviously one of the best players in the world, but prove again that Man City is a top team and they're the ones to beat. They're the top dogs. They're the ones that everyone's chasing, and prove that Pep's system really is genius because you'll have no true nine, no true goal scorer, and they'll still somehow win the league. If that happens, I mean, fuck, man, that's just impressive. That really is. Um, so that's as far as that. That's that. That's my predictions for the Premier League season, and just figuring out the accolades. Who my predictions for who's gonna win what and who's gonna be the top goal scorer and assister and all that shit, all that good stuff. So yeah, I appreciate everyone that stuck through the whole video. If you I appreciate everyone watching. Um, yeah, so next video, we'll see what I talk about, but definitely want to talk about recapping a little bit of the Europa League and the Champions League that is starting to kick off. Um, Predict the groups, look at the groups and stuff. Now that we got it all official, all the groups are set out, and the first two fixtures are ready to go. Um, and it's gonna be an interesting season. Obviously, some favorites, some teams that are desperate to win it, and they've made some crazy moves to win it. PSG, of course, there's one of the teams. Never count out Real Madrid, never count out Bayern Munich, Man City, of course, Chelsea, Liverpool, etc., etc. So yeah, so appreciate everyone for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you're interested and you like the content I'm making. I'll obviously put out more content. Can't wait for the start of FIFA 22. gonna be putting out FIFA 22 videos, and if you enjoyed this video, enjoy this content, hit a like and subscribe. I appreciate the share, and of course, I appreciate everything. And until the next one, I'm out, guys. Peace out.